Rashford. I know what you're thinking. Another video on Marcus Rashford, but all the news coming out at the moment has to do with Marcus Rashford. But we will be talking about a new left wing back signing, potentially heading to Manchester United. And I actually think that Ineos are going to make a January move, maybe spend 30 to 40 million in bringing in one of the left wing backs we're going to discuss. But we have to get into the Rashford news because the squad has been released for Manchester United versus Tottenham, and Rashford is not in the squad. Now, this is leading to a lot of speculation. People saying, did he not train hard again? Did Amran not like the comments that he's ready for a new challenge? Is it already over? Has he played his last game? Is he going in January? We're going to talk about all of that. Now, what I know about Marcus Rashford is that he's been ill and he's missed training because he's been ill and had a temperature. So I'm not going to jump onto conclusions that it's completely over. But we do have news that comes out that details that last season, after the FA Cup final, Rashford thought he played his last game for United. That's why he was tearful. Ineos put him up for sale in the summer. So Ineos are willing to sell him in January. There is some interest in him ahead of the January window. And then we have other stories about leaks and a few other of United's plans. So hello and welcome back to Alice Talks Football, and welcome back to your 10-minute Manchester United news roundup. If you do enjoy today's video, please do hit that like button. And if you are new and want to stay up to date on all the latest Manchester United news, I do daily 10-minute news roundup videos and then interactive live shows, 2 pieces of content every day. Big love to everybody on the channel, as we are 15 subscribers away from 99.8k. So the Muppeteers on their YouTube live stream said this: players have 2 years to perform or they'll be moved out. So this is Marcus Rashford's second season. If he doesn't perform the second season, he will be moved out. Anthony, they tried to move him out last summer, but it was just a little bit difficult with his wages and stuff. All of that. But one thing about Omar Berrada, and we spoke about this when Omar Berrada came in and who he is as a CEO, is every player will get 2 seasons before they're out. So let's see Xerxes. Xerxes hasn't had the best first couple of months at United, but he's had some promising games versus Everton. When he's been used in the right role, he's been promising. I even think the Southampton game, the Crystal Palace game, the Brighton game, Xerxes was one of our better players. Fulham game, he came on and made an impact, but it's early days for Xerxes, 22-23. He was thrown into an unsustainable system, asked to do the wrong role, and you see good bits of him, you see bad bits of him, but it's too early to judge Xerxes. But if this time next year Xerxes isn't performing, he will be out. Same with any of the new signings, or same with players that are underperforming this season that maybe performed well last season. Like Delo, Ineos' rule is you can't have 2 underperforming seasons in a row or you're out. And we know that they also want to move out high wage players. That has been one of Ineos' rules, one of Berrada's rules, and we'll talk about the players that they are looking to sell. Now, Rashford cried after the FA Cup final because he thought it was his last game for the club, and Rashford had talks with the club during the summer, but the decision in the end was for him to stay. Now, I always thought, Rashford was very emotional after the FA Cup. Was it because it meant a lot to him to win that? He had a poor season, or maybe he did generally believe that that was his last game for United. Ineos had come in the door, and we know that Ineos had spoken to the likes of Varane and Casemiro and a lot of the high-wage players, and basically sort of suggested they were going to move them out. And Rashford was very teary after the FA Cup final. We're going to speak about that in a second, but I actually think that Rashford leaving is becoming a serious possibility. And the reason I think that is because of FFP, how tight United are, Rashford being on 300 plus K a week. We've seen Ineos, take 250 people out of jobs. We've seen Ineos get rid of Dan Ashworth after 5 months. Ineos are ruthless, and Jim Ratcliffe doesn't have much patience. He wants to cost cut. That's what he does. I think Jim Ratcliffe has decided he's done with Rashford. I think he gets a bit emotional, Ratcliffe, because he's a Man United fan, and I think his mindset as a Man United fan does push on those below him. Like, he doesn't agree with Ashworth wanting to give Ten Hag time. Ashworth went. He's quite emotional. He wants success now. And I think he's probably pushing on Ineos to maybe sell Rashford, and he was open to selling Rashford in the summer, which is, I think, maybe why there was conversations and Rashford thought he could leave in the summer. And that's why I think that Rashford could generally go in January or next summer, because it doesn't really suit Amran's left 10. He's not hit the ground running this season, and I think with the wages and everything, I think they could be looking to offload Rashford in the summer. I'll talk about that in more detail later, but it said that there was interest from Arsenal, PSG and Bayern in Marcus Rashford, which does not surprise me. There is some rumours of Barcelona being interested. It was said that Rashford and Garnacho both need to improve or could be sold. Now, what I will say this is, out of all the wingers, Anthony has been the poorest for a while. So he, for me, in my opinion, should be the priority to sell. Then you look at Rashford. And then I think Garnacho, you look at him the season after, because he's only been bad for like 2 months. And let's not sell someone because they've been bad for 2 months. Unless there's issues going on with him and Amran doesn't see him suiting the system. For me, you can't sell 3 wingers in 1 window. It'd be impossible to replace. And I still think that we are a bit reactionary as a fan base. 1 week, everyone thinks Højlund's trash. He then scores 2 goals, and everyone's like, oh, Højlund's good. If you give Højlund the ball and you give him service, he can score. If we can utilise Garnacho properly, there's a player there. People were writing off Maino early in the season just for him to be good. I think as a fan base, we can be a little bit reactionary, and I think with the players that age 21 or under, we just need to be a bit more patient. New signings, adapting to a new league, and players literally 22 or under, I'm going to say, let's not react after 2 or 3 bad games because they're in a bad environment. They need sorting out, and Amran should hopefully fix that. United haven't pressed ahead with signing Naipan. Dean Jones keeps writing articles saying that we're close to signing Naipan, but maybe he's just using us for clicks. But the Muppeteers are saying actually nothing's been pressed ahead. And United have been interested in Kolo Muani in the past, who is at PSG, but he's been crap for a while, and I don't think we're interested in him now. So let's talk about some more news around Rashford. So Man United didn't receive any formal inquiries in the summer for Rashford, even though clubs knew United were open to offers for him, I think because of the wages and everything. But there is clubs interested in him. I think it just depends on wages and stuff. But maybe Rashford was told, or maybe Rashford felt and had a conversation with Ineos that he could be gone in the summer, and that's why he was emotional after the FA Cup. And I think, with Rashford thinking he was going to go, then he comes back this season and doesn't really get back on track this season. I think Marcus Rashford probably knows time is up. And I actually think Marcus Rashford's interview was him accepting himself. As much as he loves Manchester United, it's probably his time to leave the club. I felt like that interview was him saying, I don't want to be a Lingard or a player where the contract runs down and it gets worse and worse and worse. I've still got time in my career. I don't want to have another bad season and go on a free. I think he was thinking he needs to get out when the time is right. That's how I saw Marcus Rashford's interview. And I have to say, I thought Ruben Amorim handled it well with his comments. Mature, sort of tries to twist it into his own thing. Oh, new challenge, that's under me, a new manager. I thought Ruben Amorim handled it well. Now, a lot of people are saying, oh, Ruben Amorim, as he kicked Marcus Rashford out of the squad, because Alejandro Garnacho is back in the squad ahead of the Tottenham game, but Marcus Rashford isn't. And a lot of people are saying, oh, was he not trained well in training again? Is he being kicked out the squad? Well, he's missed training because of high temperature and stuff. So I'm not going to jump on the conclusion that something's gone down or Amorim was annoyed at his comments or he hasn't trained well when he has missed training because of a temperature. I'm going to assume that is the reason behind it. Now, before we get into that, Mason Mount is not available. He's injured. And Mazraoui, he said we'd have to see today. We go back into the squad. Mazraoui is there, but Mason Mount is out with injury. But it was said that Marcus Rashford did not take part in training on Monday because he was unwell. Club policy is for those who are unwell to travel to Carrington to be seen by a doctor who will judge them to have a high temperature. I think Rashford could just be out due to illness, if I'm going to be honest. I'm not going to fuel that speculation until, we actually get clarity on that. I'm sure Whitwell or someone credible will speak about that maybe tonight or tomorrow. It was said that Alejandro Garnacho has been recalled to the United squad against Tottenham, but Rashford was absent. In further news, it was said that Manchester United also believe it may be time to part ways with Marcus Rashford in 2025. No approach so far. The player's dream is Spain. There is talk of Barcelona being interested, but again, the wages. There's been no significant move from Saudi Arabia for Rashford. While Man United have strong relationships with Saudi and the alignment with the club is not an issue, the primary obstacle would be attaining the player's approval. It's a bit like the Sancho situation. We knew Sancho was going. Saudi Arabia wanted Sancho, but Saudi Arabia never put any formal interest in for Sancho because they knew that Sancho didn't want Saudi. Like, I got information about Sancho last year to tell me he was never ever going to even consider Saudi Arabia. And even if Saudi wanted Sancho, it was never going to happen. And even if we could have got 50 million for Sancho from Saudi, it was never going to happen. And I think that will be the same with Rashford. But you know what I think? I think we're going to sign a left wing back in January. Now, I don't think it will be Nuno Mendes, but I think we will look at someone. It was said that Manchester United continue to show strong interest in Nuno Mendes. PSG aim to extend Mendes' contract past 2026, but a new deal isn't imminent due to interest from several top clubs. Mendes and Amorim share the same agency, and Manchester United are well aware of Mendes' situation. Mendes, along with Teo Hernandez, are at the top of United's options. United also like Alphonso Davies if he doesn't renew his contract. Now, I think, we've got Lenny Yoro. We could get Alphonso Davies. I think it's unlikely. I think Mendes and I think Teo Hernandez are top options. I know that Nouri we've looked at. I know Dorgu we've looked at. Aleche, he could be quite cheap. I know that Kirkes we've looked at could be available for £30 million. And I know that Anthony Robinson, probably more suited to a back four again, could be available for about £20 to £25 million. There's some very good options out there. And I think just looking at our right-hand side, Yoro, Mashraoui, Ahmad, Maino, really good, really nice. Looking at our left-hand side, we need a left wing back. I think Luke Shaw, if he was fit, could probably be the best option there, but I think he's more suited to left centre back because his legs have gone and he's just not going to stay fit. But I think we need left-hand side adjustment. And I think with the left wing backs in the market, with me hearing that United are 30 to 40 million to spend regardless of sales, I think we could go for a left wing back. In terms of other news, in regards to the leaks, it was said that United are convinced a network of people are behind the team leaks, and speculation that Garnacho and his brother were their leaks have been branded as rubbish. The club leaks are not down to one or two players, but a network of people, so more confirmation there. And Samuel Lucas is someone that would like to stir a bit of drama, and if he's saying the leaks are not Garnacho and so, they're not the leaks. They're not Garnacho, they're not Ahmad. There's a lot of false information out there at the moment in regards to Manchester United. And I think you just got to be careful what you believe. Henry Winter's a good source of information. Laurie Whitwell is. David Ornstein is. Fabrizio Romano, he does repeat his stories a lot, but that he's never going to make up crap for clicks. And they're definitely the sources to listen to. But listen, people, I will be back if there's any breaking news. I will be back with a live show. I might do a daytime live show because obviously we play Tottenham in the evening tomorrow. And maybe a watch along will be back tomorrow evening. I know I haven't done watch alongs in a while. It's just I've had really bad issues with fatigue. And then if I'm doing a watch along and I'm fatigued, I feel like it's not a good watch along. And I feel like quality over quantity. Do you know what I mean? I might be back tomorrow with that. But listen, I hope you enjoyed today's video. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Thank you for watching. Bye.